Alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. Welcome to our class, our Aqidah class. And this is our Aqidah class based on the book written by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid, and it's right there on the screen. Diluting Wala Wal Bara. We are now at a stage whereas everything that you guys are learning from me is being tested. Just right before the class today, I was sitting here in the Zoom room with some of my other students. And we were talking about the videos. As you guys know, everybody knows what's going on in Palestine. Okay. And a lot of people are speaking, and a lot of famous personalities, and I mean famous personalities, are putting up videos and lectures on how to handle ourselves during these times of difficulty. And I am pretty shocked to see that these famous personalities once again are failing this ummah. They're proving that all they are just ruwaybida. They're just ruwaybida, because the things that they're saying, the suggestions that they're giving are not like what I've given you guys yesterday. You know, instead of them trying to calm the people, to prevent the Muslims from allowing their anger, their emotions to get involved, which in turn will cause them to transgress the limits like the prophet said we would do. They're inciting that, which shows that, again, these men are not scholars of Islam. I keep telling y'all, the scholars of the ulama are very few in number. These personalities here in America, I'm sorry, they ain't scholars of the ulama. They're just circle men. What does that mean? People that you appointed to be more knowledgeable than you, and you give them the title scholar. But are they a scholar of me? They ain't my scholar. Are they scholars of the ulama? No. And you can tell by the response, you know, all this anger that they're inciting, you know, the things they're telling you to do. You don't want to do anything, guys, that's going to backfire on you and on us. Because, again, we're all one body. One body. If one idiot does something idiotic, the rest of us around the world who are Muslims are going to suffer. And you don't want to bring harm onto yourself. For example, why? I live in a part of America where the Jews and the Muslims live together in peace. Okay, but why would I put a flag? First of all, is my allegiance to a flag anyway? Where's our allegiance? Why would I put a flag of Palestine on my body, my person, and walk into a Jewish store, a Jewish restaurant, a Jewish institution? That is just opening myself up, making myself a target. This is not how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us to handle ourselves under difficult times. Like I tell you, people, see these brothers here in America that y'all think are sheikhs, but all they are bakes. You know, they're baked up, washed up personalities who are famous, that y'all made famous. They famous off of you watching them and listening to them, but they ain't giving you no advice based on Quran and Sunnah. These men are idiots. They're idiots. Look at their personal lives. Look at how look what's going on with them. Google them. See what stuff they caught up in. How can they advise you when they can't advise themselves? Okay. You don't do that. Where's your allegiance? That's what this whole class is about. Wala Wal Bara is our allegiance to a flag. It's our allegiance to a country. Is our allegiance to anything other than Allah, the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Muslims. So why would I walk around with flags of anything on me? That ain't what I worship. That ain't where my allegiance lies. Plus, you're making yourself a target to be ridiculed, to be harmed, possibly popped. Come in some neighborhoods where I live, put a flag of anything on. And you better watch what colors you got on too. You're going to get popped. So how is that helping anybody? How is that helping Islam? How is that helping the people in Palestine? And I want y'all to remember, Allah says, the stronger your faith, the greater your test. And I told y'all yesterday to ponder that hadith. And by the way, I hope you guys look at my shorts. What I did, I was so angry when I heard a couple of these famous personalities telling y'all to wrap yourselves up in flags and stuff. Okay, that I put some of my shorts out from yesterday's lecture when I did the Q&A. So make sure y'all look at my shorts on YouTube. Those video shorts of me telling you how to handle yourself, because I'm telling you how to handle it based on what the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay? We talked about the hadith where a man came to the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he said, "O Prophet of Allah, who is tested the most? Who receives the greatest, hardest trials of all?" And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "We prophets do. We prophets are tested more severely than anyone else. And then after us, those who are strongest in their iman and practice." Those Palestinians who are going through what they're going through, like I told y'all, they're strong in their faith. They can handle it. They're handling their tests with dignity and balance. It's you people who are not over there, who are acting like idiots. I received a phone call from a brother who lives over there in Palestine. And I said, are you okay? He said, we're fine. We're fine. He said, we're fine. He said, we're handling it. We can handle it. He said, it's those Palestinians in America. It's those Palestinians that ran away and went to Europe. It's the ones that don't live here. He said, they got all the mouth. They got all that anger. They got all that inability to handle. He said, Layla, tell the people on your website that we don't need nothing from them. Nothing from them. Nothing from them. If they want to help, make dua, but we don't need that either because we are making our own dua. That's how strong in faith those people are. They can handle their trial. It's you Palestinians and others who are not living over there, who chose to come here to live. You're the ones that's inciting the Muslims to do horrible things and stupid things like put a flag on, carry a flag to school. How did the Prophet teach us to show solidarity? Did he tell the companions in Mecca to walk around with the flag of Mecca on? Did he tell the people in Abyssinia to walk around wrapped up in flags to show solidarity? No. He said, you want to know how to establish allegiance and solidarity with each other. Spread the greeting of Assalamu alaikum. Because that greeting of Assalamu alaikum will not only instill love in our hearts for each other, it'll show the rest of the people that we are one. Because our greeting is also a supplication. Do you Muslims hear me? Y'all need to get off of YouTube. Stop listening to these celebrity men who are caught up in scandals. By the way, they all caught up in sexcapades. They're caught up in murder. They caught up in all kind of scandal. So why y'all listening to them people anyway? They ain't nobody. They're not telling you what the prophet said do. I'm telling you. He said you want to know how to establish al-wala. Spread the greeting first of all. So like I told you, sisters and brothers, when you out in the public and you see Muslims yelling out, Assalamu alaikum, my sister. Assalamu alaikum, my brother. They'll nail back wa alaikum salam. They're showing the people we're together. It's not putting a target on you. You're wishing peace and blessings to each other. And you're showing the people that see you that you are united. We have to do things the way the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us. I want you guys to know, like I tell you, the Muslims need to learn history. What's going on over there in Israel? Do y'all know this has been happening since the time of David alayhi salam? This stuff started during the time of Solomon. This is before Moses. Allah said it's going to continue until Jesus comes. I listened to this other famous American celebrity that y'all call a scholar, who's caught up in all kind of innovation, deviation, sexcapades, murder, and everything else, but y'all still listen to him. And he's worth more than Will Smith. I heard him sitting there saying that we will prevail. The Muslims will prevail. Allah will make it happen when he wants it to happen. Brother, do you know that Allah told us when it would happen? Allah said it will happen, but he said it ain't going to happen until Jesus comes. There's nothing. Why come you didn't tell your audience that? That shows that you don't know this religion. You don't know the Sunnah. You so caught up in your innovations. You so caught up in your deviations. Getting your little degrees from these universities. Can't nobody give you a degree in Islam. Do y'all understand that? How many times have I told you that? Al-Furqan comes from Allah. And Allah says in the Quran, he only gives it to a few. Just because an idiot graduated from Harvard and got a Islamic degree from some online Islamic school don't make him no scholar. It makes him an idiot. I'm going to tell you why it makes him an idiot. Because he should know that Al-Furqan comes from Allah. Okay? Allah told us what would happen over there. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam one day led the Muslims in the Fajr prayer. And after the Fajr prayer, he began to talk about what will come to pass. And he took a break for each prayer and continued that talk until the next morning. And he told what would happen in that part of the world from A to Z. He talked about the war against Islam. He talked about all of this that's happening. And he said when it will end too. It ain't going to end. Allah will give victory to the Muslims over there. But he said that victory ain't going to come until Jesus comes. He also said the people over there will be the strongest in faith. Their iman will be stronger than any other Muslim's iman on the planet. He also said they'll be able to handle their trials, where the other Muslims whose faith is not strong, many who are hypocrites, will be the one inciting the war, making the war worse, causing more harm. And that's what is happening. listening to some of these lectures that these famous personality here in America is putting out, inciting people. I'm telling you guys, you better not have none of your children wear a flag of Palestine nowhere. I hope you people got better sense than that. You don't have your children go to school wrapped up in no flag of nothing. The same way we don't pledge allegiance to the flag of America, we don't pledge allegiance to the flag of no country. We pledge allegiance only to Allah, to the Prophet and the Muslims. And we make that pledge every time we recite the Tashahhud. Y'all understand that, Muslims? Stop listening to these ignorant men. These ignorant men. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said women. Another reason why there'll be more women in hell than men. Women will follow a wayward man to hell and back, rather than take knowledge from the proper source. A woman will be so duped on how a man looks and how beautiful he speaks that she'll follow him to the hellfire. You women better not send none of your children to no schools wrapped up in no flags, carrying no flags, or none of that. You better teach your children, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and my allegiance. Ain't to no piece of paper, ain't to no material, no flag. I'm going to show solidarity the way the Prophet did by giving salams to my brothers and sisters when I see them. He also said another way when we're dealing with hardships like this, because remember, the Prophet Muhammad was in war from the time he received the call to prophethood to his death. They were fighting a battle constantly, nonstop. He also said another way we stand together and show solidarity in times of hardship. Spread the greeting and also check our behavior. Check your behavior. When you walk out the door, we have to be people of balance. Control your emotions. Use your brain and not your heart, as we're talking about in this class. We have to take those emotions that destroy us, such as anger, jealousy, and throw that stuff, and sympathy, and throw that stuff to the side, because jealousy, anger, and sympathy, the Prophet taught us, will cause us to transgress Allah's limits, because your personal jinn will play with them. Replace that instead with empathy. Empathy, dignity, and justice. We are a justly balanced nation. The non-believers want to see you act a fool. They want you to listen to these pretenders that y'all listen to on YouTube and go and put flags on and be stupid enough to wear it around a Jew or wear it around a school and get beat up, popped, especially if it's the wrong color going through the hood, you're going to get popped, okay? They want you to do that because they want to launch this war against all Muslims because they hate us. As Allah says, they will never like you. That's why you Muslims here in America were stupid when you went out and voted in that election. You let Obama play you. He played on your sympathy of color. Again, our allegiance ain't to a race. Our allegiance ain't to a color. It's supposed to be to Allah, the Prophet, and the believers. But you guys let Obama play you to get in office. And after he got in there, he stabbed you with all the homosexuality laws he passed and everything else that goes against our belief system. That's why Allah says, distance yourself. We live amongst them in peace. We live amongst them in harmony, but we distance ourselves. Because as Allah says in the Quran, they will never accept you. The unbelievers will never, ever, ever accept you. These same brothers who are sitting up on YouTube right now, and they got 23 million followers, and they're telling you to go wrap your children up in flags and go to school. And they're telling you to boycott. And like I told you, boycotting doesn't hurt nobody. You can boycott all you want to. All you doing is hurting yourself. That's you and your family going without what they need. You ain't hurting Israel. That's stupidity. Learn the economics of the world and how it works. That's just stupidity. While you sitting there listening to these ignorant men tell you to do these ignorant things, like I said, you're making yourself look stupid. You're not putting a dent in Israel. And those Muslims over in Palestine are laughing at you. They think you're ignorant. They're laughing at you. You should hear what they say about American Muslims. You should hear what they say about the Palestinians that are not living over there. Wala wal bara. Wala wal bara. These men that y'all listening to, they are the same men who were sitting up in the White House having turkey dinner with Obama, all on the news with their wives. And shockingly, some of their wives didn't even cover up properly. These same men that y'all listening to, that y'all love and idolize, they're the ones that had you voting. They're the ones that were sitting there eating turkey, with Obama. And now they're telling y'all to put on flags and act like idiots, thinking that you helping somebody. Keep listening to those people. Keep listening to them. Because all you're going to do is just bring the war on. Bring it. It's going to happen anyway. Bring it. The Prophet said when that war against Islam does occur, the only Muslims that will get through it are the ones who are strong in their iman, are the ones who will remain upon the traditional Islam. The traditional Islam is what he came with, what his companions came with. Those men that y'all following, they're going to be the first ones to run to the kafir and join sides with them to save their souls. Selling their deen out even more than they did when they voted for Obama. Shame on you Muslims. Y'all better get it together. Everything. The key to how to handle ourselves in good times and bad times was given to us by the Prophet Muhammad. There is nobody on this earth today, not the Palestinians, not the Syrians, nobody has suffered more than those companions did. Y'all better learn how they handled themselves. And they lived in war till their death. They didn't do none of this stupid stuff that you people are doing. Anger, hate, destruction, misplaced allegiance, misplaced loyalty, revenge, to the point where you're going to hurt people that ain't even involved in the crap. And people ask, why is it that Muslims don't get victory? Well, the Prophet told us you will never have victory. He said the later generations, when that war happens, their victory will not come. It will not come. It will not come until the Mahdi. And the reason being is because Allah is not going to help them. Allah is not going to help them. Allah is not going to send the angels to fight with them. Because they will be transgressing Allah's laws. They will be transgressing Allah's limits. When we transgress the limits of Allah, when we show that our allegiance is to a flag, When we show that our allegiance is to a country, when we show our allegiances to anything other than Allah, the prophet, and the believers, you ain't got no help from Allah. You don't have no help from him. So y'all keep on listening to these soapbox celebrities here in America talk garbage to you. And they don't give you no evidence where the prophet boycotted. He lived with the Jews. Did he boycott them? He died owing them money, owing them for his suit. Why would I hurt myself? Why would I put flags on my children and have my children carrying flags? First of all, I'm teaching my kids. We ain't got no allegiance to no flag of America or Palestine or nothing else. Better get that together. You Muslims, shame on you American Muslims. And shame on these famous men that y'all follow and listen to. Y'all need to take them off your list. These men are ignorant and they know how I feel about them. Because I've told them to their face how ignorant they are. Bunch of losers. And y'all following them. Do what they tell you to do and see what happens. When your kid get popped, you get popped, your wife get popped going to the bank with a flag in her hand, you can blame him that you're listening to, that idiot who's caught up in all kind of murder and espionage and rape and everything else. Subhanallah. It's disgusting. Yeah, I just had to say that, guys. I just had to. I mean, but of course, nobody's going to listen to me. I'm just a woman. Oh, she's just a woman. I'm just a girl in the world, as Gwen Stefani says. I'm just a girl in the world. You just won't let me be. So y'all keep listening to him, listening to them, those men, and their female followers who they caught up in sexcapades with too. Keep listening to those men and their female their female partners. Keep listening to them. See where y'all end up. Way be that. I'll be the bad girl. I'm the bad girl. Okay, so that's my speech for today. And again, those shorts, I am putting up the shorts because a lot of you, I know y'all don't want to listen to the whole Q&A. So I'm making shorts. And y'all can see I put a lot of them up on Facebook already. After this class, I'll put some more up. So share them. While they listening to a brother man tell y'all to put flags on and be idiots, maybe they'll listen to Layla and realize the prophet said to spread the greeting. And also our behavior when we walk out the door. Let the people see how bad those people are with their perceptions of us. Israel is lying on those people over there, accusing them of killing children, accusing them of killing women. It's not true. So we have to change this conception that the world has about Muslims. They think we're barbarians. They think we're terrorists. Like the prophet told the companions, we have to show them wrong through our behavior. I'm going to still walk out my door with dignity and balance. I'm going to greet my neighbors. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. I'm going to still be the good person I am. But when I see my brother, Salaam alaikum, sister. And hello, do you need any help carrying your groceries in? To my neighbors, I'm going to disprove the lies that they're putting out about how we don't care about others, how we're barbarians, how we're terrorists. All we want to do is get angry and yell and debate. You need to stop that debating. You brothers sitting up the other brothers, on the other hand, y'all waste y'all time with the Bible debating with Christians. Y'all need to cut all that crap out because you made us look like terrorists too, trying to force Islam down somebody's throat, telling people that their book got lies in it, but then you pick it up and say, but this part is the truth. How do you know that? You're a hypocrite. You're telling people that their book don't exist, but then you're picking out verses claiming that this is true. I mean, y'all need to stop that. We need to start doing things the way the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did and his companions. That's how we change the misconceptions of the world. Get back to the Sunnah. And we show solidarity by stopping the arguing and fighting with each other. We show solidarity by spreading the greeting with one another. That's the first thing. We show solidarity by going to the mosque praying. The Prophet said, you want to know another way to instill wala within the believers is to pray together, to go to the mosque and pray. And I ain't talking about women. I'm talking about you men. You women need to stay home and take care of your children. Okay? You brothers need to get up, go to the masjid and stand ankle to ankle, shoulder to shoulder, and show solidarity. Fill the masjids up. How do we show solidarity? Fill the masjids up with Muslim men who are doing what? Praying. Praying. How peaceful can that be? That's what the Prophet said. Wala, through the greeting. Wala, through filling the masjids up with prayer. Wala, through our actions, behaviors. Let the world see that we're not what they think. And never, as the Prophet said, never lose focus of the fact that we were created to worship Allah, to obey him, to obey the messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and be united as one. Don't ever allow any hardship to take you away from that knowledge. A flag is showing allegiance to something other than that. Boycotting is only hurting you and your family, your children. Protesting, the Prophet didn't protest nothing. Protesting leads to fights. Protesting leads to the police coming out. Protest leads to transgressing the limits of Allah. Y'all better start making dua. The Prophet said the power of dua. Pray for your brothers. Because you best believe they praying for themselves. All right. Okay, let me go to the class. And that's what this whole lecture, this whole class is about. Diluting Wala Wal Bara, allegiance, how to show allegiance to Allah, to the Prophet, to the religion, and to each other. And we're in chapter 11. This chapter is speaking about distancing, which is Wal Bara. How do we distance ourselves? Let's put the chapter, today's section of the chapter up on the screen. Yeah, it just makes me, I just don't like seeing it. You turn on YouTube and these famous speakers, they are ridiculous. Boy, if I didn't believe they were Mutazilite before, I do now, because I don't hear none of them referencing the Prophet and his companions and how they handled this stuff. None of them. I can't believe it. It's sad. The Ruwaybida. That's what they are. Ruwaybida, with all their followers. Okay, guys, inshallah, you can see my screen. We're going to speak about how if we implement distancing, and that's what those famous brothers should have been doing. When Obama was campaigning, Obama was a smart kafir. He is a smart kafir. He knew that one of the ways, the only way he could really get into that office is to get the votes of the minorities. And everybody knows that Muslims don't vote in elections because we ain't supposed to. It's against our religion. Yes, it's haram. It's haram. It's haram. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said a kafir can never be a ruler over us. Allah says in the Quran, they will never rule in your interests. They will never have your best interests in mind or heart. So it's haram. So Obama's smart. He's a smart man. He knew, let me get the African American, the Spanish, the Native American votes. And these are people that usually don't vote. African Americans usually don't vote. Neither do the Spanish, neither do Native Americans. And let me get those Muslims. We got a lot of Muslims. Don't y'all know that 1 out of every 10 Americans is Muslim? Did y'all know that? That's a fact. Islam is the second largest religion in America. So Obama was smart. Let me go out to the Muslim masjids and talk to them, win them over. They're stupid anyway. We know who the people are that really know their religion. You know, we're going to label them as terrorists. We're going to label them the ones that are sincere to Islam. We're going to label them as a terrorist and turn the other Muslims against them so they don't listen to them. People like, you know, Lailanasheeba, for example, who's always teaching the Sunnah. We're going to turn the people against her. I'm just giving an example. And we're going to go to the masjids and shake hands and kiss babies and talk about how my father was a Muslim, but I'm an apostate. But they ain't going to focus on the fact that I'm an apostate. Because in Islam, apostates fall in the category of what? In Islam, the apostates fall into the category of wal bara, distance. We have nothing to do with them at all. That's why these men ain't scholars. Because they had no business shaking hands, eating turkey, and doing whatever they was doing with Obama, because he's an apostate. His father was Muslim, raised in Muslim. He apostated, took on the religion of Christianity. He should have been nothing there. But Obama knew how to play y'all. I'm going to play the fact that I'm a black man from Africa. And they won't focus on the fact that in reality, I'm an apostate who is not worthy of their allegiance. I'm an apostate who's not worthy of their association. See how Obama played y'all? He played y'all like a fiddle. And y'all listen to those famous American celebrities sit on YouTube and tell y'all we need to have a voice. A Muslim ain't gonna never have a voice. The Prophet Muhammad said that. Allah says that you will never have a voice until Jesus comes. Allah lets that be known. The non-believers will never accept you. They will unite together. They can be the worst enemies, but they'll come together as one just to take you out. That's how you know these are not scholars. These are authentic hadiths. These are verses of the Quran that they don't even know. But because I got a PhD from Harvard, I got a PhD from some online Islamic school in Islam, you know, I'm a scholar. Shame. Wal bara. If we would live by its meaning, we wouldn't be in a situation that we're in today right now with Palestine, with LGBTQ and all these other things. Because wal bara means that anything, any ideology, any belief system, any actions that contradict what Allah says, that contradicts what the Prophet says, we have nothing to do with it. And that's how those famous men that's telling y'all to wear flags today, that's what they should have said when Obama approached him. When Obama went to Texas, oh yeah, that was the state. That's the Republican state. And that's the state where all these Muslims are that think they scholars. That's where all the Muslims are that think they scholars, your circle scholars. When he went to Texas, them brothers should have said, nah, wal bara, wal bara, wal bara. But they didn't. They let them in and they ended up in the White House eating turkey with him. Voted for him. That's what happens whenever we deviate away from Allah's laws. Allah makes the laws. He makes the guidelines for our betterment, guys, because he knows us. He knows his creation better than we know ourselves. After Allah created Adam and had his soul breathed in him, he ran his hand across his back and produced all the souls of all of us. And Allah already knew what each soul would do, what each soul would earn for him or herself. And he already knew which soul was going to be in paradise, which soul will be in hell as a result. So Allah already knows what we're going to do, what's going to happen. That's why he tried to make it easy for us. He gives us those laws, those rules in that Quran for a reason. Don't deviate away from them. Every time we deviate away from them, look what happens. Look what happens. Subhanallah. All right. So let's look at this part of the session about what happens. Disassociation. It has a substantial effect on our connections with each other and with those who are not upon a belief system as us. When we perform correctly this disassociation and we perform it in accordance to Allah's laws and principles, it brings about unity for us. It'll also cause the unbelievers to respect you because they know that you're not going to compromise your principles. The non-Muslims here in America have no respect for American Muslims because with that Obama, they saw how easy it was to manipulate them. They saw how easy it was to get those Muslims to compromise their belief system. But had we did al-Bara, had those masjids did al-Bara, they would have respected us. Okay? And then that would have brought us closer together as well. So if distancing is carried out the way Allah commands us to, it leads to spiritual growth, both on a personal level, a social level, and in turn, it unites us all over the world as an ummah. If all of us would hold firm like those companions did to our Islamic principles, if all of us would hold true to La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, we would show the entire world, our power, our strength. But we're not doing that. Okay? In our relationships with each other, if we implement distancing where it should be implemented, brotherhood and sisterhood would flourish. For example, if there's a Muslim within the community who's openly indulging in some type of sinful action, we go to that person and we try to advise them to stop. Now let's talk about boycotting. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam never boycotted the Jews. He never boycotted the Quraysh because he was intelligent enough to know that boycotting the people that supply our needs only hurts us. It doesn't hurt them. Okay? But he did boycott Muslims. Y'all want to do some boycotting? Boycott those renegade Muslims in your community. Those Muslims that refuse to pray. Those Muslims that refuse to wear hijab. Those Muslims that refuse. Those are the only ones that the Prophet would boycott. He would boycott them until they came back to submission to Allah. But you ain't going to find no hadith where he boycotted the hand that feeds him. Because the hand that's feeding you is getting it from Allah, number one. And if I don't take the food that the hand is giving me, I'm killing myself, harming myself. No, I'm going to get them some other type of way through showing how strong we are. We may be low in numbers. The prophet and his companions were low in numbers, but they were strong in unity. That made his opponents yield. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. All right. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. The believers are brothers unto each other. So make settlement between your brothers and fear Allah. That's what we need to do. You know, you want to show solidarity for the Muslims that's suffering in other parts of this world. Stop, like I told you earlier, stop fighting and bickering and badgering other Muslims on social media, on YouTube, tearing each other down. And instead stand united together during these times. Okay? Also, there's unity in diversity. The fact that we all come from different parts of the world, the fact that we all speak different languages, the fact that we all look differently. We're diverse. That's why he said spread the greeting. If I'm in a grocery store, I'm Arab American. And that sister over there is from Pakistan. Assalamu alaikum. Walaikum salam, my sister. And we go and shake the hand. Oh, Faluki. You know, solidarity. Okay? The greeting instills love. Plus, it's a blessing. And we shake in the hands, purifying ourselves of our sins. The non-believers will sit back in awe. Look how they got the numbers over us, but we got the diversity. Whereas Americans get caught up in race. Race don't matter to us. Where Americans are caught up in pledging allegiance to a flag. Y'all see the dangers of that Palestinian flag? Where America's caught up in pledging allegiance to a flag. We're pledging allegiance to all Muslims, no matter where they come from, what country they belong to. I'm sitting here giving salams to this sister from Pakistan, shaking her hand. And here's a sister from Somali. Assalamu alaikum. Oh, alaikum salam. Oh, diversity. A flag does not unite us. Our belief in Allah and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is what unites us, guys. That's why I'm so shocked at these brothers. They're not scholars. They're idiots, man. Idiots. Okay? So by cultivating our distance in our relationships with non-Muslims and others, this is how we advance a culture of respect. This is how we create a culture of compassion and support. The non-Muslims will look at us and say, man, these people stand together. It'll cause them to look and see, look how many Muslim countries there are. The Muslim countries have everything that the rest of the world needs. The world needs oil. It needs petrol. Where's the petrol? The Muslims have the commodities that the rest of the world needs. That's the Gulf. The minerals, the jewels, the diamonds, that's Africa. It'll cause the non-Muslims to look and see, look, we're so busy tripping on color and country and flag. They're diverse. They're from everywhere. And we look at the countries they're from. Those are the countries that have the commodities that we need. And if they unite, if they are united like this, then we non-Muslims need to rethink. Maybe Israel is doing something it shouldn't do. Y'all see the power. This is what our prophet taught us. Not what these famous American men are teaching y'all and women and their sidekick women who ain't nobody. Diversity, unity in diversity. That's the power. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, no Arab is better than a non-Arab. The white man's not better than the black man. They saw ex-slaves like Bilal, ex-slaves like Zayd marrying Zainab. That's why the Prophet married Zayd to Zainab, to show that stuff don't matter. Here's a rich woman with a poor man. Hey, we're diverse. We Muslims are diverse. We're based on justice and balance. That'll cause the non-Muslims to think like it did to Quraysh. The Quraysh began to think. Khalid bin Walid converted. Abu Sufyan converted. The enemies converted because they saw the balance, the justice of Islam. This is how we show support for each other. Okay? So distance is a potent transformative force in Islam. It can propel personal growth, self-improvement, and a collective development across us as a whole. Okay? And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam spent the majority of his mission trying to get us to unite together, to disassociate from those and that which opposes Islam, and instead unite with each other based on la ilaha illallah. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of meaning. When the believers saw their enemy army, when they saw the enemy army coming to them, they said, this is what Allah and his messenger had promised us. The promise of Allah and his prophet has been fulfilled, and this strengthened their faith. That's what it's supposed to do to y'all. When y'all sitting there watching Fox News, CNN News, you're on YouTube watching the bombs go off in Israel, watching that. Instead of you getting angry, instead of you going through the pity party, you need to act like the companions did when they saw the bombs coming at them. They said, hey, this is what Allah said would happen. And it only made their faith stronger. They said, well, okay, we can handle it. Allah doesn't place a burden on us that's too great for us to bear. Allah said if you couldn't handle it, he wouldn't subject you to it. So I'm going to handle this. My faith will get me through. And should I die with the martyrs. That's how the companions were. They didn't allow that emotionalism like you Muslims here are doing to overwhelm them. They said, this is what Allah has promised us. Whatever it's going to be is going to be. Let's deal. Bring it. Let's deal. And should I die, I'll be with the martyrs. And they'll be in hell. I don't hear these brothers telling y'all that. Those brothers who's all on YouTube going viral, those are famous ex-Obama supporters. I don't hear them telling y'all this stuff. They're not using this Dalil like I'm doing, are they? But I'm just a woman. I'm just a girl in the world. Sing it, Gwen. Okay? So based on the example of our prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he taught us, how to handle ourselves in times of difficulty. He taught us to remain steadfast to the truth, to justice. Never allow whatever we're faced with in life to cause us to go against Allah's laws, go against our purpose here. And we need to learn from his example and his companions, not sit on YouTube listening to these derelicts give their stupid lectures that ain't based on no dalil from Quran or Hadith. And let's look at the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. This is an example. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions, they encountered challenging circumstances. However, their unwavering adherence to distancing themselves from those principles that contradict Allah's plan made this treaty a success. Because this treaty was when they were able to go out and spread the message of Islam without having to watch over their back. And as a result of this, that's when the whole Arabia ended up converting to Islam. So again, the prophet and his companions, how did they handle themselves? They never, ever, ever deviate away from Allah's book. Muslims today are doing that, especially if you put a flag on. Well, your allegiance ain't to that crap. The earth belongs to Allah. Learn the history. This stuff that's going on over there in Israel started after Solomon. Ever since the time of Solomon, Allah has been trying to get the people to understand that the earth belongs to him, not to you, not to me. The earth belongs to Allah, and we can live anywhere on it. Not one human being can say he got claims to this earth. And that's why in Islam, we cannot rent land even. We can't even rent land. That's why all this is going on over there. It's all about people learning that the earth belongs to Allah, not to Palestine, not to Israel, not to the black man, not to the white man, not to you. It belongs to Allah. And we'll never get it until Jesus comes. All right. Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning, "O you who believe, fear Allah and be with those who are truthful." This verse here, it emphasizes how if we do live by distancing ourselves from that which opposes our belief system, it'll allow us to grow and develop spiritually. Allah is telling us to fear him and only surround ourselves with the truthful people. When those brothers who are sitting up on YouTube right now talking crap, when y'all saw them on CNN eating in the White House with Obama, that wasn't surrounding themselves with truthful people. This verse encourages us to associate ourselves with individuals who embody sincerity, integrity, and innocence. By seeking companionship with those devoted to righteousness, this is how we can transform ourselves in our character to that which is pleasing to Allah. This is how we purify our intentions, and this is how we improve ourselves. The Muslims here in America deviated away from that. They got caught up in the race game, the black man game. We failed, and we're paying the price. The Muslims all over the world are paying the price. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. Okay? As Muslims, we're supposed to reject anything that compromises our belief. Anything that Allah made haram, it's haram because it's bad and dirty. We got Muslims telling you that it's okay to smoke weed. How many of you see these videos? Look at all these videos on YouTube by men who call themselves scholars, men who call themselves graduates of Islamic universities, issuing fatwas telling y'all that you can smoke marijuana. Y'all see why this is happening? What's going on today is happening. We've compromised our Islamic moralities, where we've compromised our principles for this world. We've done what Allah said we would do. We've sold the Quran for the miserable price of fame. We've sold the Quran for the miserable price of gain. Gain and fame. Hello. Look at all these videos on YouTube. Marijuana. Women doing polygamy. It's okay for a woman to be married to a man Islamically and legally another man. That's adultery. How can a woman be married to two men? But these men who've graduated from Islamic universities, who y'all call scholars, putting out this ideology. Okay. Okay. So, because we don't have that distancing, this is why we're divided as a nation. The Quran instructs us to unite, stay away from those influences that are detrimental to us and to our way of life, to support only the values that Allah tells us to support. We're supposed to be living our lives, following the example of the Prophet and his companions, doing things the way he did it, the way they did it, not adopting our own ways. As Allah tells us in the Quran, hold firmly to the rope of Allah together. Don't become divided. But unfortunately, we've lost grip of that rope. We've lost our hand connection to that rope. We're divided. We're not following the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad. The Sunnah has become abandoned. The Sunnah has become replaced with fatwa. We're going to look on Islam Q&A and see what they say do. We're going to listen to the celebrity so-called circle scholars tell us what to do. We're not going to listen to those brothers and those sisters who are telling us what the Prophet did. We're divided. We lost our hold on that rope. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of what is leading to the end. The end being that war against Islam. These speakers that y'all listening to right now on YouTube, putting out all this flag-bearing allegiance crap, they're going to answer for this stuff. Because like I told you guys yesterday in my Q&A, what's the role of the dawah? It's our job to bring peace, to calm the people. The people of knowledge, we are the inheritors of the prophets. What does that mean? We are their inheritors. We're supposed to handle situations and advise the way they did. The Prophet Muhammad taught calm. He preached calm. He preached logic. He tried to get the people to do away with that emotional crap. He said your emotionalism will bring your destruction. This is why the Christians will always have the upper hand over you, because they think you become emotionally distraught and you transgress the limits of Allah, seeking revenge and all that dumb stuff. These men and women are supposed to be doing just what I'm doing, trying to calm you down and tell you to show dignity, humility, and balance. They should be giving you examples from the authentic hadith as to how the Prophet handled himself. Because like I said, he stayed in war his whole time as a prophet. They're not supposed to be leaving outside of that telling you, oh, let's just protest. Let's just boycott. Let's put on flag. Protesting, boycotting, flagging is making yourself a stupid target. And you making the rest of us look ignorant. You better get back to the Sunnah. You better handle yourself the way the Prophet taught us to handle, because that's what they're doing over there. Those Palestinians are handling themselves right. It's you who are not.